The Mongol Empire is widely known as one of the largest and most powerful empires in history. But what if I told you that there was an empire even larger and more ruthless? Welcome to my channel. And today, we will meet Tamerlane, the man who built the biggest empire in history. Tamerlane was born in 1336 in Transoxiana, an area that is now part of Uzbekistan. His original name was Timur, but he took the title of Tamerlane, which means the lame conqueror, because of his limp. He had a limp due to a fall from a horse when he was young. Tamerlane was not your average military leader. He was a brilliant tactician and strategist who led his armies to victory against some of the most powerful opponents in history. But it was his brutality and ruthlessness that truly set him apart. One of Tamerlane's most famous quotes was, "I came, I saw, I conquered." And he certainly lived up to those words. His armies were known for their ferocity and their ability to inflict massive casualties on their enemies. At the height of his power, Tamerlane ruled over an empire that stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the Mediterranean Sea. This empire encompassed much of Central Asia, the Middle East, and parts of Eastern Europe. Tamerlane's empire was short-lived. After his death in 1405, the empire fragmented and eventually collapsed. However, his legacy lived on. One of the most significant impacts of Tamerlane's empire was the spread of Islam. Tamerlane was a devout Muslim, and he actively promoted the religion throughout his empire. In fact, he is considered to be one of the most important figures in the history of Islam. Another impact of Tamerlane's empire was the exchange of ideas and culture between different civilizations. His empire brought together people from all over Asia and Europe, and this led to the exchange of ideas, technology, and art. For example, the famous astronomer Copernicus was actually born in Tamerlane's empire, and he was influenced by the Muslim astronomers in the area. But perhaps the most lasting impact of Tamerlane's empire is the legacy of violence and destruction. Tamerlane himself was a brutal ruler, and he was responsible for the deaths of millions of people. His armies were known for their cruelty, and they committed terrible atrocities against civilians. In fact, one of the most infamous massacres in history occurred during Tamerlane's reign. In 1398, his troops attacked the city of Isfahan in Iran, and they killed an estimated 100,000 people. Despite his brutality, Tamerlane is still considered to be a hero in some parts of the world. In particular, he is revered in Uzbekistan, where he is considered to be the national hero. There are statues of him and schools named after him, and he is celebrated every year on his birthday. So what can we learn from the life of Tamerlane? Well, first of all, we can see the power of ambition. Tamerlane was an ambitious man who wanted to build the largest empire in history, and he certainly accomplished that goal. However, his ambition also led to the deaths of millions of people. So it's important to remember that ambition can be a dangerous thing if it's not controlled. We can also learn about the importance of legacy. Tamerlane was a brutal ruler who was responsible for some of the worst atrocities in history. But he is still revered in some parts of the world. This shows us that it's important to be careful about the legacy we leave behind. Our actions today will determine how we will be remembered tomorrow. Finally, we can learn about the power of culture. Tamerlane's empire was a melting pot of different cultures, and this led to the exchange of ideas and innovation. It's important to remember that culture can be a powerful force for good or for bad. So what do you think of Tamerlane? Was he a hero or a villain? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching. See you next time.